Help me understand how she could do this so suddenly. Why would she go away? But part of the reason that I'm interested in these cases as a doctor is the workings of the mind, which is probably the most mysterious place you could ever imagine going, into your own mind. So let's just delve into that a tiny bit. Maggie, what was going on in her life?
There was a lot going on in Maura's life that was really compounding. And, you know, for a 21-year-old, it was probably a lot to deal with. She was at one of the most prestigious institutions in the country. She was at West Point, and she was about to get kicked out for stealing.
Oh.
So she transferred to UMass because she was going to get kicked out. Then at UMass, she had a little bit of credit card fraud. She was buying pizzas with someone else's credit card. Also really minor, but kind of a big deal. And then they said, stay clean for 3 months. And what happens is she totals her dad's car, which very likely could have jeopardized her studies again. So, you know, there was a lot going on in her life.
Did people know that she was having emotional issues? Was she acting out? This is sort of bizarre. To get into West Point, which is really hard to do, and then that's 3 strikes you just counted for me.
Yeah, so I think it was all compounding, and she just needed to get away for a minute and take a break.
So there's some conspiracy theories, quite a few. When someone disappears, everyone's got an idea that might explain how she disappeared. Can you walk us through some of the more prominent ones?
Yeah, there's suicide. There is that she was abducted and possibly murdered. There is a police conspiracy cover-up, that she died of the elements in the woods, and then that she ran away.
Well, they all would work for me except suicide. There should be a body if you commit suicide.
Which is kind of our thought too, but the police have said, you know, the woods are so vast up there that, you know, it's very possible you could just walk right over something. You know, there's animals.
So, Art, from a law enforcement perspective, that's your training. How do you make sense of this? How can someone disappear without a trace? What does law enforcement say?
I mean, we have 13 years of hindsight at this particular point in time. And I mean, when you go back and you look at what actually occurred at that accident scene up in Haverhill, New Hampshire, police came upon it. It was a 911 call. They just thought they had an abandoned vehicle with possibly somebody drinking. This happens all over the U.S. every day. Law enforcement comes across abandoned vehicles all the time. They didn't realize they possibly had a missing person until 24 to 48 hours later. So they treated the initial scene as just an abandoned vehicle as opposed to an actual full-blown crime scene.